Yes, I can hear myself, so you can hear me. Great. I'm Matthijs, Alderliefste, CEO of Mokin, and we're working on an AI interpreter for refugees. So let me tell you the story about Arne. Arne is a Syrian refugee, and after weeks of waiting, he finally arrived. He arrived in the Netherlands, and after weeks of waiting in an asylum seeker center, he finally gets permission to stay in the Netherlands, which is great news for him. The municipality workers of the municipality of Amsterdam, in this case, really want to help him to get to work and help him get to social services. But they can hardly understand each other because Arne doesn't speak Dutch or English, and the municipality workers here in Amsterdam often don't speak Arabic. Yeah, so this is the case for a lot of people, and when the refugees come here and they receive a residence permit, the refugee makes a participation and integration plan with the municipality worker. This is a 3-year step-by-step process where the municipality worker and the refugee constantly converse and talk, like, did you get your driver's license converted? How is it going with your social circle? Everything they're doing to help them integrate in Dutch society. And but the language barrier makes it very tough to actually help them well, because it's like hand and feet work. And this reduces the speed and the depth of them being part of our society. So you would say, well, just get a translator right in the room. So the problem with translators is that they're actually hard to schedule, sometimes short notice. In these specific languages from refugees, there's also not many available, especially Tigrinya, which is a language they speak in Ethiopia. It takes time to organize, and it's just too costly for the municipality to have in every conversation a translator available. So then you say, okay, well, just use Google Translate, right? So Google Translate has actually a problem with Tigrinya and Arabic and Farsi, these refugee languages. They don't give good translations. And also the government doesn't really like applying them because there's no control over privacy, and these conversations can be quite sensitive because the refugees went through quite horrific stuff, and they talk openly about this in these conversations. So that's why we started Mokin. With Mokin, we're making a specialized translation model that's fully catered to the conversations that the municipality is having with the refugees. And so we do that by using foundation models and then adding specific words that are being said in these conversations. And then the second thing is we make sure it complies to all the privacy rules. And I added BIO, which is a Dutch government standard of information security. Not only that, we integrate with current municipality tools because we value integration, so we integrate our technology. So at the end of the conversation, the government worker and the refugee can look at the full transcript of the conversation to check. And also this is good for the refugee to check whether he got all the details that he needs to do and next steps. And also automated reporting. So we have our own LLM that can make a report of the conversation with action items. And also this is a mandatory by law thing that the municipality needs to do. They need to keep track of the conversations they're having. We see a worldwide influx of refugees. I think you cannot see this, but it started in 2013. It really goes up a lot. This is worldwide, so we need to act now. We cannot wait. Currently, we're working with the municipality of Amsterdam in a pilot, and they help us with data collection for these specific conversations. And my call to action is any government. Is there anyone from government in the room by any chance? No hands? Yeah, okay. All right. Well, please, let's talk after this presentation, and then we can see if we can do a pilot. That's it.
Okay, great. Thank you, Matthijs. So I'll turn it over to Lisa to kick us off.
Yeah, maybe to start off with, are municipalities paying for this?
Yes, that's our revenue model is selling license to the
And is the willingness to pay of these municipalities high enough to keep the lights on in your office?
to keep sorry
The lights on in your office?
Yes, yeah, we're figuring it out now.
Um,
So yeah, we're talking with municipalities now. We are not at the stage yet where we can say this is the price point that they're willing to pay. We can compare it to what the translator costs. Translator costs about 60 euros per hour. So anything that's below that, and then it should already
yeah.
save money for translators. But money is not necessarily the biggest issue there. It's just there's not enough translators available. So yeah.
Okay, and maybe can you also talk a little bit more about the competitive landscape? Because I think you mentioned Google Translate, but there are actually a lot of tools coming onto the market right now that help with that translation.
Yeah.
Do you see that, or how do you see yourself remaining competitive over the long run?
So we really want to specialize in this very specific conversation. At least in the Netherlands, there is also, by law, the municipalities need to follow a certain process. So we can predict, we know which conversations they have checklists, so we know exactly which topics are being discussed. Plus, we'll keep track of the global technology state of the art by updating our models as the foundation models with open source models, maybe even proprietary ones, whichever performs the best. So in that way, we can follow what's happening in the sector, but we'll be building up our specialized data set over time, and then we hope to have sustained competitive advantage that way.
Okay.
For these conversations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think what you're building is very impactful, but I guess the question is how do you make this viable and scale up? Every time you need to train a new language pair, you have to invest some resources. Is that correct? Does that get easier? And then you're very focused on this, but are you planning to help refugees down the line, offer them other things so you can actually generate more resources to keep building this up?
Yeah. We do want to specialize. We had some talks already in healthcare. It's the same problem. Like doctors, they have a problem conversing with a refugee, and now actually something pretty bad happens because they often ask a family member, like a child who does speak English, and they then have to translate, like telling their mom they have a disease. So this leads to very bad situations. So that's the next thing we want to get into.
Rick?
Time for one more, yeah? Yeah, I really love the problem that you're solving here, because it is definitely a big problem worth solving. But I think what you're finding out is how do you match all the resources that you need with sort of the willingness to pay?
Yep.
And in that you're saying, Google Translate doesn't have all languages, right? Right? Because
they keep also they added Tigrinya recently.
Yeah.
But the performance is not. It's not good at all yet.
So if you're talking about large language models, right, they're very expensive to train, even if it's for a specific use case. How do you rhyme those two? If you want to have all languages, but then also your own large language models, and only an addressable market that is the Netherlands, right? Because you're using the standardized sort of interviews here. How do you rhyme that?
We're still exploring like the costs and how can we reduce the costs. This is a great question, but this is something we need to figure out over time now.
Let's have a chat about it. Maybe we
can. Good. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you, Matthijs.